to curate a very interesting conversation to understand where we are with building our creative economy in Africa today and where we are with the sports industry development. So to kick us off, I'd like to invite all of our speakers to please introduce yourselves, starting with our co-moderator. Please introduce yourself, and then we move on to the next person. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session. My name is Juliet Owino from the National Youth Council. I'm in the Research and Policy Department. And so today we want to look at how creative economy, sports, tourism and culture, we want to reimagine this. How is it supposed to be changed into monetary terms? So help me welcome the speakers as they introduce themselves, then we can go on.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Gwego Ngarambe, the Director General in charge of sports development at the Ministry of Sports in Rwanda. And it's a blessing and a pleasure to be here with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Rigo. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ruben Bumche. I work for the Basketball African League. I'm the head of league operation. Originally from Cameroon, and I've played basketball and worked in different parts of basketball throughout the continent or in the US. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good morning or good afternoon, and I hope this session will be engaging and fun and as creative as it should be. My name is Peter Frederick Moll, founder and CEO of an international non-government organization called Stand Up Shout Out, based in 39 counties in Kenya and 23 countries in Africa, dealing with good governance, poverty reduction, conservation, sports, youth inclusion, arts, culture, you name it. And I also wear another hat. I was recently appointed in March 2023 as the youngest board member in the history of Kenya Wildlife Service. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Tito Musuludi. I'm the African director and co-founder of a company called Snake Nation. We help young people to tap into the creative and digital economy by using 3 Ps, people, places, platform. We've got a technology that we've built that uses Web3 technology to track your content online. And then we're building studios in university campuses, allowing students to create content on their safe space. And then we're also pushing creative societies, getting young people to set up societies, run those societies in universities, and plug them into the industry. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fedi Adimefe. I'm the CEO and founder of Magic Carpet Studios. We operate from Lagos, Nigeria, and our vision is to build the creative capacity of the continent to tell our stories. We're basically focused on animation and game, and also exploring this in terms of cinematic experiences.
Thank you very much all for the introductions. I think we'll have to pass on the microphone. As you can see, we have a very engaging panel, and I think I'd love to start us off with the sports industry. Africa's sports industry is developing. Africa has for a significant period of time been a source of talent, global talent in the sports industry, and also has been growing as a marketplace or a consumer of sports. So I would love to pass my first question to Mr. Ruben to tell us from the perspective of NBA, NBAL, what was the founding, what's the founding purpose of you coming back to Africa, committing yourselves to developing African talent within the sports industry? Where are you today, and what's the vision?
Yes, thank you. I think for the NBA and for the BAL, we're very well aware of the the deep talent that always existed in Africa. We can go back with the Manu Ball and Hakim Olajuwon, very talented players. To today we have the Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's always been a deep level of talent in Africa. And for us, the NBA has been actually involved in Africa since 2003. We started a program called Basketball Without Border. We've had a lot more programs since then. Junior NBA leagues that we have in about 19 countries today. We have an elite academy, NBA Academy Center in Senegal, where we have the top African players go to that academy to try to help them. So we always know that there is really the talent pool in Africa, especially from an athletic standpoint, that match any talent around the world, even the US. What we always see as issue were infrastructure and really the technical knowledge around that ecosystem, that basketball ecosystem, to really help this talent to develop and be at the top level. So the BL was just founded about 4 years ago as this professional league for Africa in collaboration with FIBA. And what we're trying to build is really like a whole value chain starting at the grassroots level that we started with NBA Africa, with all those programs for the young kids until age about 18. And now with the BL, it's this professional league that can be this platform for all these African kids to really showcase the talent globally. So the best one will always go to, which is great if that happens, but for us, we want to have this platform in Africa where kids can develop, where kids Is that working? So we want to build this predictable, really, structure for our talent in Africa, where they can start really at the ground. And in all the countries, at least the one who embrace basketball would love to, really the talented one go to the academy and now have this platform, this professional platform, which is the BL, for them to really showcase their talent and make a great living without feeling like they need to go to Europe or the US, for example, to succeed. So that's really our vision. We just finished our 3rd year. We're about to start the 4th season of the BL. With, there's going to be a lot more things we've added to it in the past season. So we're really looking forward to another great season. And on top of that, this is just on the player side, even though there are so many jobs around that basketball ecosystem that we are focused on, and that we're trying to develop local talent, local African talent, to really learn those skills and be able to either take them into the country locally. So our goal is really like to have the entire basketball ecosystem, not just the players, but also all the jobs around basketball.
I think a very interesting follow-on question is when we speak about the sports ecosystem overall, what are those jobs and how can we accelerate the pace at which we're preparing young Africans to see opportunities within the sports industry and to participate. So a bit of description on what those jobs are, what the role of government is and other stakeholders to ensure that while we're doing talent development, while we're developing these games and leagues, how do we also build it as an industry altogether? Yeah.
Yes, I mean, on the player side, just thinking about it, the jobs, obviously coaching is part of it. And within coaching, there's actually different jobs. Some coaches, we do not have it yet really in Africa, we're trying to develop that. Some coaches are very specialize like player development, for example. Scouting is another part of it. Game strategy and game operation. That's really a different job within coaching. And those are things we're trying to develop. We have coaching clinic that we do every market that we go. And this season we're trying to do it one every month somewhere to really like expand that throughout the continent and teach the kind of job. Referees is another job that we're working with FIBA to really upscale the level of a current referee, because they're part of this ecosystem that need to work. Outside of that, when you think about the business side, I am in basketball operation, right? That's jobs that we need to develop more in the continent. We have some program. We started a new one this past Friday where we're going to bring some intern into our office. Going to spend about 6 months with us to learn what we do, so that they can go back and apply it, locally or with teams or that kind of stuff. We have jobs in marketing, for example, like content production. Right? I have a colleague who's put a whole program to really next summer, hopefully, to go to different countries and start developing local talent already in the space of production and camera and all that whole world. We have social responsibility jobs. So there's a number of jobs around basketball that don't yet exist in Africa, and that's our focus. And that also need to translate to our teams in the continent. Right now, most of our teams are not structured in a way that are really professional as we see in other continents. It may be 1 or 2 persons running the entire team. They don't really have somebody who knows how to go find sponsorship, how to market the team, ticketing. And our goal is really to develop all those jobs locally as much as possible, so that they can be the people who are going to go actually help the teams and make them stronger and professionally. So this is what we're trying to create. And we're going to keep working every year and adding more and more program with the help to your second question. This has to be a public and private initiative, partnership. I think we need public investment when we talk about communication, road, that kind of stuff. We need hotels. We need the private sector to be fully engaged in this as well. And I think if together we build that infrastructure, then everything works to really create that platform for everybody to be able to benefit from it.
Thank you very much for that submission. I would like to, within the same train of thought, invite Mr. Gwego Ngarambe to tell us, because while you sit in sports development in Rwanda, you're a sports expert, and you are engaging also at an Africa level. You have an overview of where we are as a continent in terms of developing industry, the sports industry. Perhaps speaking from the work that you're doing in Rwanda and your engagements at Pan-African level, what should we be thinking of? What should be at the forefront of our priorities and investments when we think about development of talent and sports overall?
Thank you so much. I would just like to come back to a question that you asked Ruben about, especially for example, jobs that are in the sports industry that we have not yet tapped in Africa. I always look at an athlete from the hour they wake up until they go to sleep. There are tons and millions of jobs around them as individuals, be it nutrition, communication, player development, clothing, brands, endorsement deals, so many things around an athlete, one single athlete, that can give a million of jobs to so many people. So I think as we try to move forward, Africa needs to, we need to look at sport as an industry that we still have a chance to impose our will in. The business models that we are going to put in place, the governance structures that we need, they should be tailored to the solutions that we want to see in our sports industry. There is that part of, yes, bringing in homemade solutions or initiatives, and also keeping up with the global pace. So I think for us, looking at sports development, there are maybe 3 elements that we need to focus on. There is, yes, competition, which is what the BAL, the NBA Africa, the African Football League, all those platforms are helping us with. There is capacity building, and there is infrastructure. We need, maybe touching on infrastructure, we need to make sure that they are accessible to everyone from grassroots level up to the time they can become eligible to advance to the elite level. So infrastructure, basic infrastructure honestly, where kids can just go and explore their talents, where they can be seen. Those are the platforms where we need them to be. And then capacity building touches on the job creation we're talking about, making sure that for each kid, for each group of talented kids or potential athletes, there are people who know how to accompany them from, let's say, age 6 to age 12 to 18, like knowing what are the requirements for an athlete from Africa to go and dominate worldwide. Because we've seen, as the examples mentioned, from the Hakeem Olajuwons to the Giannis Antetokounmpos, to the Yaya Tourés, to the all those African people doing great things in the sports industry globally, we've seen that it's possible. So I think from that we can draw solutions within the continent. In Rwanda, we are trying to do that through policies first, making sure that we have clear sports development and sports in schools and all entities concerned, where they practice sports, where they understand that sports is not only a way of being healthy, a way of just practicing something physical, but it's a pillar of our economy. It's that platform that is going to help us as Rwanda, as Africa, to, again, I will say it, to impose our will and define what should be our say or our what we bring to the global sports industry. And I think to make ourselves attractive partners to the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. I'll take it up as you sort your mic in just a bit. Just before I ask the next question, I'll request the 2 panelists just next to me, just fill in this seat so that we are having another guest who will be sitting there, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. We've been talking about sports, and looks like this is a very interesting sector that is still untapped, in as much as we've been able to tap some of it. The creatives is another sector, and I know we have performing artists, we have different types of creatives in here. I'd like this session to be as interactive as possible, and so even as I invite my panelists, I'll be asking them just to give us an overview from Nigeria, from South Africa, from Kenya. How do we see the creative industry? How has it evolved? Where are we? Is there potential for more? I'll give the first chance to Mr. Ferdinand, and I'm told he has a 1-minute video that he would like us just to watch, then they'll be able to respond. Sound team?
All right, thank you very much. So, has anybody seen The Lion King here? Lion King. Which do you prefer? First, there are two Lion Kings. There is Lion King that came out 2 years ago, and there was Lion King of 25 years. Please, which do you prefer? 25 years ago. Okay, did any of you see Mulan? The first or the second, which do you prefer? First. Okay, guys, we seem to love old things. But guys, just to tell you that if you pay attention, a lot of the stories coming from the West are most likely going to be repackaged ideas. So it's not so much that there's a lot of fresh ideas they can explore. But when we talk about storytelling in Africa, we haven't even tapped it at all. From Zulu all the way to Swahili cultures, you find that there are many stories for which we have never mimed. Interestingly, Lion King was African themed. And Hakuna Matata is not an English word. Sorry, guys, for those of you that think it is. But what we're seeing is Africa is going to define the next decade of storytelling, and we need capacity to do that. For one Lion King, you need about 200 people working for like 3 years to produce that. So if we have 10 films, 20 films, it's job creation in scale. So I'm going to play one of the films we're working on from Lagos, Nigeria. But we're not just working on it. It's called The Legends of Bulan. And if you know anything about Bulan, Bulan is the name of Africa was Ake Bulan before it was changed to Africa. So Bulan is just a cute way of paying tribute to the pre-colonial Africa. So guys, let's just have a quick clip on that. Ryan.
All wars are fought twice. From within and from without. Empires are threatened. Cities besieged. Out of the gloom, an exiled warrior finds a chance to reclaim glory. Before the eyes of the world, the renegade becomes the hero. All wars are fought twice. From without. Empires are threatened. Cities besieged. Out of the gloom, an exiled warrior finds a chance to reclaim honor. Before the eyes of the world, the renegade becomes the hero.
If we want to really, really industrialize Africa, we need to go digital. And the concept of digital is, I don't think we understand the potential of digital, is that you can work from anywhere. We work with Cartoon Network, we work with Warner Brothers from Lagos, and they don't pay us in Naira, thankfully. Right? So at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for you to really create impact. And I think it's my message to every youth minister here, every country, is let's not miss out the revolution. We missed out on industrial revolution. We cannot afford to miss out the story revolution. It's the age of Africa storytelling. Black Panther has told us that, Woman King is telling us that when the stories rise, the world will recognize that Africans are really indeed gifted with storytelling. While the flip side of the storytelling is capacity. To produce a film, there's an entire value chain from artists to animators to concept design, background music, voices. like voices, all kinds of voices, the African intonation and all of those things, the African language. These are the new exports. And there are many streaming platforms from Netflix to Amazon to Hulu to Paramount to Prime. They are all looking for platforms and looking for content. So I really think to talk about developing the creative industry, we have to look at what we have, our potential, our young people, our greatest potential, our greatest resources, our stories, also a great resources. When they come together, revolution happens. And I'm here to share that what we're doing in Lagos is possible everywhere, and to build that network, because it's one Africa. Today, about 25% of the GDP in India comes from outsourcing. An essential part of outsourcing is digital skills, for which people have never have to travel. They don't have to do this illegal migration. You can learn the skill, stay in your country, and earn the money. So it's really about using the creative industry to drive a new age of industrialization. Right. So thank you, guys.
Over to you, Mr. Tito.
Thank you. So what we basically do, and this is something that started in SA, and then we're expanding to other Southern African countries. We saw students in universities, they were struggling to find jobs after they've graduated. So we started setting up creative and digital society. With the digital society, we started women clubs, women in tech clubs, and women in business. We partnered with the biggest Southern African team, KICC Chiefs. And then looking into the creative and digital economy, we started zooming in to say, how do we help young people to tap into film, to tap into music, fashion? So we started building studios inside universities because we know from our homes, it's very difficult for a child to say, I'm going to university, I'm going to study film. In most cases, you find people who are utilizing our facilities as students who are studying engineering, but passionate about film industry, and then somebody who might be doing marketing, but again, passionate about music. So we started building those, but again, there was another big problem that we faced. It was the platforms. So we could only distribute that content using your normal channels, your Instagram, TikTok, very social content, and get paid. And then with the technology that we built, we also started paying students for consuming that content. So whenever you interact with content, whenever you share or engage with that content, you're getting paid. And then working with the universities again, we started building students within the university ecosystem. These are guys who are cutting hair, making nails, and then you can only utilize our tokens that you've earned from our platform to buy from other students. So that model, we basically started expanding. We're working with the government of Lesotho, rolling out the initiative in Lesotho. We're working with Eswatini, rolling out the initiative, Lesotho, Zambia. We're doing the same in the States with the historically black universities. And then we started now pushing challenges, tackling social issues that are faced by Africans, tackling things that you don't normally find on the other platforms because they are pushing certain agendas. The tech and the algorithm being used on other platforms is something that is not really pushing to build the continent. And then we started now using our algorithm to basically push African stories. So we're tackling things like your gender-based violence, substance abuse. We double tapped on telling cultural stories, and there's actually a big program that we did for the Khoisan, building the stories, and again, for pushing out those stories, we're getting the locals, universities in those locals, to start zooming into research and telling local stories and pushing those on our platform and start earning from that. That's the program that we're currently rolling out to 2,800 universities. Our societies are fully run by university students. And then the university management is currently using our society to push some of the messaging. And the agencies that are pushing out ads on those platforms are also black agencies that are run by university students. Those are the industries that were normally on the hands of our trying to find a very good word, because with the South African advertising industry, we're currently sitting at 2%, and this is an industry that is sitting at 52 billion rands, but you only have 2% of black companies in that. So now, zooming in to introduce young blacks into the advertising industry and telling universities that the only way that brands can engage with students, they have to go through the student blacks.
A considerable amount of work that is being put into creatives, and so this is something that we should be looking into differently as opposed to how we were looking at it like 5 years or even 10 years ago. Mr. Peter, tell us the situation in Kenya.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? So we have to look at the issue, and I want to bring it down to the level of contextualizing it. We have the potential and we have a crisis.